Om. ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ओम नमः श्री शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलास महामोह ग्राहग्रासैक कर्मणे। हरि ओम। So we saw yesterday in detail about the Anyonya Adhyasa, mutual superimposition. Afterwards, in about a couple of shlokas, Vijayaranya Muni touches various theories. Somebody said body is Atma. Who said body is Atma? And how they quote relevant scriptures for that? Incomplete, of course. So they quote scriptures also as a praman. Somebody said prana is Atma. Somebody said intellect is Atma, buddhi. Somebody says shunya is Atma. Okay. So now, when these things are proposed, Vijayaranya Muni says it's all not possible one by one. Then he says even shunya cannot be the Atma. Atma means substratum, adhishtanam. Even shunya also cannot be the Atma. Why? There cannot be any superimposition without a substratum. So therefore, one has to accept the existence of Atma, because superimposition is not possible without a substratum. There must be something on which you can superimpose. Moreover, Atman also has to be accepted as a witness of non-existence. If you say there is Shunya, who is telling that there is Shunya? Think about it. So even you cannot say that there is Shunyam Asti, Shunya is there. So that who is certifying that there is Shunya? So if you are not there, you cannot certify. So niradhishtana vibhrantehe abhavat. So analysis we will do. After this, another group will come. This is also Vaidika group. Vaidika group means they know Veda. They know Veda. But they don't know how to interpret Veda. Next theory, next Vijayaranya explains. They say Anandamayam is consciousness, Atma. They don't exist because they say beyond intellect, Shruti Pramana. Shruti says beyond Buddhi Kosha, Beyond Vijnanamaya Kosha, there is Anandamaya Kosha. It is not direct Shunya. Okay. Buddhists say there is beyond Buddhi, there is only Shunya. Some class of one school of Buddhists. So now, who says that there is Anandamaya is Brahma, is Atma? Mimamsakas and Naiyayikas. So they say that Nyaya and Mimamsa philosophers, they say, they come together now, they refute Buddhists. They refute Buddhists. So Advaitin watches. Advaita need not refute Buddhists because other classes are there, they can first eliminate. That's how the Chartha Shastra Charcha takes place. So Shankaracharya in his entire Bhashyam, in this end, he allows somebody to refute some other philosopher. Then first आपके बीच में जितने भी मतभेद हैं, so each one cancel them, each one refute other philosophies. जो बच जाता है वो हमारे पास आइए. So whoever is left out, ultimately Advaita will stand and he will refute that final also. So here they say these Naiyayikas and Mimamsakas, they reply to Buddhists. They say, no, you cannot say everything is mithya. If you say everything is mithya, it will mean that everything has borrowed existence because everything is mithya. Mithya means what? There must be some mithya means appearance. Appearance means existing to our perception. So if it is mithya, where is that, from which source they have brought their existence? Who lends their existence? Like for example, rope lends the existence to snake. Mutual adhyasa. Think about it. So therefore, there must be somebody to lend existence. You can't just say mithya cannot exist. So if you say both consciousness also is jadam and insentient also are mithya, chaitanyam also is mithya, then we will ask the next question: who lends existence to mithya vastu? How can an illusion appear without a substratum? Its appearing means what? It is borrowing its existence. So you should show a material which lends existence, and that which supports, that which lends existence to the mithya, right? Mithya, that which is lending existence to mithya, that should be satya. Like rope. Rope is lending existence to snake. So snake is mithya, but existence lent by the rope. Therefore, rope is satyam. When we say snake is mithya, what is satyam which is supporting the mithya? Snake, rope. So therefore, other man says, no, why can't I take Sunyam as Adhishtanam? I can take Shunya, non-existence, as support to the Jagat. Then if we say, if Shunya is lending existence to Mithya Prapancha, see confusion. Then we'll ask whether Shunya has existence or not. If you say it does not have existence, Shunya has no existence. If you say, then how can it lend existence to Prapancha, Jagat? So when it does not have anything on its own, how can it lend existence? So you cannot say Shunya has no existence because you are supporting Shunya. You say Shunya exists. So therefore, you cannot talk about absolute Shunya, and neither you can talk about absolute Shunya. Okay. So relative Shunya you can speak. Relative Shunya, Means what? There is Sakshi to illumine the non-existence. Who knows there is Shunya? Sakshi should be there. So relative Shunya with respect to Sakshi must be there. So absolute non-existence is not possible. There must be somebody to know the non-existence. Suppose you say there is no Sakshi for Shunya. Then if there is no Sakshi, witness for Shunya, then Shunya will not be experienced at all. And Shunya will not be known. So how can you say Shunya is there? So there must be a Sakshi for knowing what it is non-existence. So a Sakshi is there. Okay. So Buddhist Shunyavada was refuted by, we are watching, Advaitins are watching. So Nayayika and Mimamsakas, logicians and Mimamsaka, Purva Mimamsakas, they came because they believe in Karma Kanda. They removed it. They refuted the arguments of Buddhists. Shunyavada is over. Okay. So what did they say? How did they say? They say Vijnanamaya Kosha is Atma. But what is Vedic declaration says? Veda doesn't say Anandamaya Kosha is Atma. Accepting Anandamaya Kosha as Atma by Nayayikas and Mimamsakas, they have refuted Buddhists. That's okay. One job is done. We don't have to enter into Maidan, ground. Buddhists were refuted. Shunyavadins were given out. So, Vijayananda says, what is Vedic doctrine? Veda says, other than Vijnanamaya Kosha, in Anandamaya Adhyadikaranam, it will come in Brahma Sutras. Other than Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is subtler, more pervasive, all pervasive, than the Anandamaya Kosha, is Anandamaya Kosha. And therefore, we must accept there is Atma. Okay. And beyond the Vedic Karma Kanda say Anandamaya Kosha is Atma. So Shunyavadi comes and says, he helplessly admits. Then he questions. So what is Atma as per the Vedas? So Vedas clearly say, other than Vijnanamaya, other than Shunya, there is an Atma, Mimamsaka says, which is Anandamaya. So it is an Atma which is different from Buddhi and which is existing, not Shunya. So it is different from Vijnanamaya, and it negates whom? That this argument, Kshanika Vijnanavada, is negated. Those who say that Atma is Kshanika, just conscious, just when it just illumines and glows and goes with respect to every object, it is changing. Knowledge is changing. So Veda says it is Anandamaya Antaraha. Actual Atman is what? It is within the Vijnanamaya and it is called Anandamaya. This view is held by whom? Astika Darshanas. Within the Astika Darshana, Nayayika, Vaisheshika philosophers. So they quote the Taittiriya Upanishad, Anyontara Atma, they say. And refuse Karika Vijnanavad, that is done. But now we should not come into this category because we don't say Anandamaya is Atma. Anandamaya Kosha is not Atma. This argument is enough to refute Buddhists. So Advaitins should not be included in this group. They are confused about Atma. So we don't come into that category. What is the then we say Vedanta Advaitins say Advaita say Atma is Panchakosha Vilakshanaha. Panchakosha is Panchma Kosh kya hai? Anandamaya Kosh. So other than Panchakoshas is Atma as per Advaita Vedanta. The real Vedanta says. So we say Atma is other than Anandamaya Kosha. Okay. At least Mimamsakas and Nayayikas are Astika group. They believe in Atma existence, but they are confused about Atma. So now, after this, mentioning that Atma is Panchakosha Vilakshanaha, according to Advaita Vedanta. Now Vidyaranya Muni takes up another subject called how different philosophers hold their view regarding the size of Atma. So different philosophers said different things. So in the next couple of shlokas, he mentions which group of people say what, how they talk about Atma, size of Atma, and what is the ultimate Vedanta says. So Vidyaranya Muni enters. Afterwards, now we have negated so many Nastika groups. Somebody says Sharira Atma, somebody Prana Atma, somebody Mano Atma, somebody Vijnana Atma, somebody Anandamaya Kosha is Atma, somebody Shunya Atma. So 6 Nastik, some different philosophers. They say there is nothing other than Atma beyond this. So when all these things are refuted, Nayayikas and Mimamsakas are able to go beyond the body-mind complex because they speak about Punya, Papa, etc. Okay. So Nayayikas and Mimamsakas have crossed only 4 koshas. But they have not understood Veda clearly. They mistake Anandamaya is Atma. So they quote Shruti Pramana also, Taittiriya Upanishad, they quote and all that. Okay. So some says Atma is Anu, some says Atma is Mahan. All those concepts our Vidyaranya Muni deals here in the text. Somebody says Atma is the size of the body. See? Somebody says it is Mahan. Atma is Mahan. Somebody says size of the body. Jain says size of the body is Atma. Somebody says Anu. And different scriptures they quote. For this, in support of this various philosophies, they quote. But Vedanta say Atma is unconditioned, unlimited, infinite, untainted. So this is how Vidyaranya touched upon some philosophies regarding the size of Atma and how they quote wrongly scriptures. But Vidyaranya refuted all of them and say Atman is all pervading. Okay. Now, regarding Jiva also people have misunderstanding. Whether Atma is there or not, what is Atma? Misunderstanding. Okay. What is size of the Atma? Misunderstanding. Now regarding Jiva, who is this Jiva? So Jiva also is mentioned. Misunderstanding of Jiva also is mentioned in many shlokas. So I'm not touching all those aspects now. Whether it is Jada, whether it is Chaitanya, what are so many questions, this one. Okay. So I'm not touching that aspect now. Because now I'm talking only essence of 6th chapter. So, but what final conclusion of Jiva already defined. Jiva is reflected consciousness. So in Panchadashi earlier chapter we saw 3 things is called Jiva. Kutastha Chaitanya, Antakarana, then Antakarane, in the Antakarana, the reflected consciousness of the Kutastha Chaitanya making Chidabhasa. These three together is called Jiva. So this Jiva is Sansari. Okay. Now Vijayana talks about Ishvara. There is regarding various views regarding Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Then he takes up this subject. So somebody says, Broda Upanishad says, what the ultimate Vedanta says? When the Prakriti is under the control of Purusha, that Purusha is referred as Ishvara. And he is different from the Jivas. The Purusha, who is controlling the Maya, who keeps Maya under his control, is different from all the Jivas. And he is the controller of Trigunas. And he is the inner controller, Antaryami. Thus say, Vahu, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad say, this is the Ishvara. So Vijayana says, who is this Ishvara? As per the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, who is this Ishvara? Okay. So now comes different people hold different views regarding the Ishvara also. So what does Patanjali Maharshi say? Patanjali says, Ishvara is a superior person. The Patanjali Sutras में एक सूत्र है, क्लेश कर्म विपाकाशयैः अपरामृष्टः पुरुष विशेषः ईश्वरः. क्लेश कर्म विपाक आशयैः अपरामृष्टः पुरुष विशेषः ईश्वरः. पंचदशी Vijayana Patanjali Sutra says. Meaning what? Ishvara is Purusha Vishesha, superior person. And Klesha Karma Vipakashayaihi. Ashaya means support, origin, place, etc. So this Ishvara is not affected by Klesha, miseries, karma, klesha, karma, vipaka, fruits, phala, karma phala, effects of karma. Klesha, karma, vipaka. And also there, ashayehi, source, unmanifest impressions. So, by all these, Ishvara is not affected. Originally, if you say what is the nature of Ishvara, like Jiva only, meaning Jiva is unattached consciousness, Ishvara also, but Jiva doesn't know, Ishvara knows. Jiva is under the control of Maya, Ishvara is controlling the Maya. Okay, so Ishvara is a superior person who is not affected by the five miseries. Now, what are the kleshas? Pancha kleshaha. What are pancha kleshas? Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. Avidya is ignorance. Asmita is sense of I-ness, ahankar. Then the raga, attachment, dvesha, hatred, and abhinivesha, identification. These are called five kleshas. Ishvara is freed from kleshas. What are karmas? Three types of karmas: Shukla karma, Krishna karma, and admixture of Shukla Krishna karmas. Mixture of Shukla and Krishna karma. Papa, Punya, and admixture. Ishvara is free from all three types of karmas. So he is free from five types of kleshas. Ishvara is free from three types of karmas. And Vipaka. Vipaka is, your Patanjali Maharshi says, Jati, Ayu, Bhoga. These three are Vipaka. Jati means Janma. Karma, Vipaka means Karma Phala. So Ishvara has no Karma Phala. What kind of Karma Phalas are there? They are classified into three. Janma, Ayu, longevity, Bhoga, in between Janma and Mrityu, whatever experiences are destined as per the Karma Phala, we bhungte, meaning we enjoy or we suffer, we reap the fruits of those consequences in this life between birth and death. So Ishvara is superior. He is not attached to karma, klesha, karma, vipaka ashayahi. Vipaka ashayahi, the source of it, vasanas, no vasanas. Okay. No impressions, is freed from them. Aparamrushta, untouched. Therefore, Ishvara is superior being. This is what Patanjali says. Some philosophers say Hiranyagarbha is Ishvara. Why? Because he is the one who created the Prajaha, beings, Brahmaji. So he should be the Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha. Others say Virat Rupa, which is visible. Further descendants of Hiranyagarbha into Virat. Stula Jagat Abhimani Devata. Abhimani Purushaha, Virat Purushaha. Not Purusha we say. Is Virat Purushaha. So somebody Virat is Ishvara. Some others say Chaturmukha Brahma is creator. Somebody say Vishnu is the creator. Ishvara. Sorry, Vishnu is Ishvara. Why? Because Brahma, the creator, is born from his navel. And Shaivites say Shiva alone is supreme God. He alone is Ishvara. Ganapatyas, followers of Ganapati, worshippers of Ganapati, they say Ganapati is supreme. Why Ganapati is supreme? Is Shiva's son? No, Ganapati is supreme. Then even to Shiva, because in the case of Tripurasura Vadha, when Tripurasura is being killed, Shiva killed Tripurasura. So before he went for war, he propitiated and invoked Ganapati to kill Tripurasura. Therefore, Ganapati is superior. He is really Ishvara. So many concepts, so many ideas, so many viewpoints about Ishvara, about Jiva, about Atma, about size of Atma. Think. But Vijayamuni says, those who do Tattva Vichara, enquiry, proper enquiry with the help of a Guru, they will conclude clearly if you understand Vedanta Shastra. There is only one Supreme Lord. He alone is. And he is the Mayavi. He is called Mayavi, controlling the Maya. Who is he? One being, controller of Maya. Mayantu Prakritam Vidhi, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Kaivalya Upanishad. Shvetashvatara, all Upanishads, they speak about it. So the whole world is pervaded by Ishvara. Different aspects are there, sentient and insentient beings and things, all are pervaded by Ishvara. So ultimately, Ishvara is Mayavi Purusha. So that is what very beautifully Vidyaranya Muni concludes the analysis about Ishvara. So in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, not Kaivalya Upanishad, in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, it says, what is that? Mayam tu prakritim vidhi, mayinam tu maheshwaram. Very beautiful. We studied Shvetashvatara Upanishad, I remembered, in Noida ashram. So thus, various concepts are there. Ultimately, Vedantic declaration is, Ishvara is Abhinna Nimittupadana Karanam. He is a material cause and efficient cause of the creation. He is Mayapati, so controlling the Maya. Untouched is above. Sarvajñatva, Sarveshwaratva, Sarvavyapakatva, all these things belong to him alone. Thus, nature of Ishvara has been told so wonderfully in this chapter. Iti Sruti Anya Saranyayo Nirnayishware Tata Satya. Thus, in terms of all explanations, we have concluded now. The final meaning about Ishvara is logically correct. Logically and through scriptural authority, Shruti Anusarena, as per Shrutis, we have concluded. So when we are accepting Tata Sati Avirodasyat, therefore, when we accept this meaning, there is no contradiction at all. I am seeing the text here. So thus, Ishvara is explained. Now, Vidyaranya Muni takes up the nature of Maya. I think I'll conclude here because today, the last day, so you'll forget also if I start now, it won't be beginning. So I'll conclude here. With next month, I will announce the dates. Maybe it is from 4, 5, 6, 7. Just a minute. I'll tell you the dates now itself. Please write down. In the April class is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Monday to Friday. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Panchadashi only will continue. We'll come to conclude 6th and 7th chapters of Panchadashi like this. In a month, we take 10 classes minimum. Conclude this essence of 6th chapter and essence of 7th chapter we'll study. You are not missing any point, so don't worry. And afterwards, we can probably see simultaneously 2 texts as we used to do. We can continue. Let's see how, Narayana helps us. Hari Om. I'll conclude today. Thank you. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnodachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you all. Hari Om. Have a happy Holi to all of you. Thank you.